So past life regression has gained a lot of popularity through the last couple of years, but just sort of like becoming aware of what personality or what body you may have been in a previous lifetime, be that a human being or animal or a plant or from a different dimension. That in itself is a small part of it all. There is so much more to it, actually. And the thing is, what you first of all want to do to get a broader understanding of the karmic benefits of past life regression is to gain an understanding of who you truly are. Because as human beings, we have this idea that you were born and that's the start of you, and then you die and that's the end of you. But there is a very small part of who you are. When you look at that experience from the perception of the soul or the higher self or the higher awareness or the higher perspective, call it what you want to call it, then being born and sort of like dying, it's like waking up and going to sleep. It is the same soul having the same experiences over and over and over in sort of like rather similar settings. It's really not all that different. So first and foremost, you are so much more than just a human being having a experience right now. You're so much more than just a soul imagining itself to be human. You are eternal. And when you really open yourself to that, it is a lot easier to gain a broader perspective of how past life regression hypnosis sessions can actually be very beneficial to you. Because all of life is just cause and effect. All possibilities already exist. There is a dimension in which your dream life is fully operational. So when we speak of manifesting something, you're not really creating anything. You are aligning to something that already exists by your vibration. And this is really where past life regression comes in and plays a very vital and beneficial role to you living the life of your dreams, of your desires, to get to live that beautiful life that you want to live. And the thing to understand is that there is a version of you, because there are multiple versions of all of us. There is a version of you that is already living that life. You just want to align your conscious awareness with that version. Okay? So all these different possibilities of how you can live life already exist. It is your conscious awareness that is aligned with the life that you desire. And then you quote unquote manifest it, and then you experience it. So we create nothing. We align with things. All right. Let me get a little bit more into that. But first of all, welcome to the video. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Adrian Nelson. I'm a holistic wellness practitioner. I'm a tarot reader, Reiki master, crystal healer. I teach psychic development. I teach people how to align with abundance. I am evidently a regression hypnosis practitioner. And I just do beautiful things. I'm a Reiki massage therapist, but this video is specifically about past life regression. Now, I want to start off by debunking something quite big over here. Or rather, maybe debunking is too strong a word, putting it into a more realistic sort of like in a way for you. All right? There is this idea that when you do go for one of these beautiful, beautiful regression hypnosis sessions, these quantum sessions, which are, all truth be told, mind-blowingly beautiful. They are just amazing. But there is this idea that your life has to change just like that. And it can. I've seen some amazing miracles in my life. But here's the thing about that. The work that I do, and practitioners that practice quantum regression hypnosis, quantum basically being tapping into all of the allness, we come from intentions to serve your highest good. And you want to work with someone whose intention is to serve your highest good, not necessarily to try and impress you. Because when people try to impress you, it often doesn't go hand in hand with your highest good. All right? And the thing to remember is that you have a foundational belief about who you are. And that foundational belief, more often than not, is a belief system that we are born with. So you are born having certain beliefs and expectations about life and about yourself and about the trajectory of life and what you can expect and all those sort of things. All right? And it is not always in your best interest to go from the experience of one belief to another, because sometimes it can feel like there's a carpet that's ripped out from underneath you. So I don't want you to have the expectation that you must have one session and your life must be just like that. I want you to have the expectation that you have a session and your energy alignment is of such a nature that your life gets better at a pace that serves you best. And with that being said, I've got two offers when it really comes to my sessions. I would either have one long session, which is really, really beautiful, or a couple of shorter sessions. And especially if you are new to spirituality, you may be a little bit nervous about hypnosis, which is normal, because, you know, the media's got all this very freaky, untrue sort of portrayals of what regression hypnosis actually is out there. If you look in my playlist for regression hypnosis, there's a couple of things there, 12 tips to prepare for your session and so forth, which can really, really help you, okay? But you can either have one long session, as I said, or you can have a couple of shorter sessions. But with the karmic benefits of it all, because you're one big being, every time when you have a regression hypnosis session, technically speaking, truth be told, you are really tapping into your akashic records. Because your akashic records is really the records of you, of your life, of your track record, basically, from what is possible for you, from everything that's already possible. All right? So the thing to remember is that in this lifetime, you are born with a certain set of beliefs and values and ideas of who you are, and that is determined by your previous incarnations. Either as a soul having a human being experience, as an animal, as a plant, as a tree, in a different dimension, on a different planet, that may not even have been aware of planet Earth being there. And I remember the first time, I started to have this quite a lot in tarot readings, for personal tarot readings, and I thought to myself, oh, that's quite interesting. Never really saw that, never heard about it before. And then I got a client that came to me who's never had a reading or anything like that with me before, his first time interaction, who then also discovered during her experience that she's never actually had a human incarnation on this planet before. And typically it's quite difficult for those souls because, you know, they usually come to bring about quite a change, and in many ways they usually sort of, you know, very undoubtedly stand out, like my friend very undoubtedly, you know, stood out. Well, my client at the time, we became friends as we went along because we do a lot of work together. But it was the first time that the soul was having an earth experience, and it really is a bit of a shock to the senses, you know. But everything that we've done before, so first of all, everything is possible. It is simply about what is possible becoming possible for you. That's it. All right? So everything's already possible. These sessions and everything that I really do is aimed at helping you to let what is possible, to let it become possible for you. Okay, so, and based on your previous interactions with previous incarnations, that determines what is possible for you in this lifetime. And everything that you do in this lifetime determines what is possible for you in your next incarnations. You are a soul that is continually living forever. You're gonna have new incarnations. You're gonna get, it's almost like I always say, like, if you really think about it, if you are eternal soul just living forever, just being forever, you just are part of the whole. If you really think about it, it gets a bit boring after a while. So you want to have these incarnations. The soul is having incarnations of its own free will. It wants to do something, because if you think of doing nothing forever, that novelty wears off incredibly fast, you know. So you want to have these experiences. But it is by what you did in previous lifetimes, and what you do in this lifetime determines what is possible for you next. So let's bring that home a little bit more. Let's not think of it in too complicated terms. You know, life is very simple. We make it complicated, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Life is simple. Okay? As Louise Hay loved to explain, life is really very simple. We make it very complicated, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's the same thing with regression hypnosis. It's not a complicated thing. In fact, it's really quite simple. It's highly effective, and you want to be sure that, and this is very important, you want to be sure when you have a session that you do it with someone that knows what they are doing. because we are working with your subconscious mind. And whatever you believe to be true for yourself, what your worth is, what your value is, in your subconscious mind, is inevitably going to be the unfolding of your current experience of life. So if you want to know what your beliefs are, what your thoughts are about life and about yourself and about your worth and your value and your deserving, just look around you. The things that are beautiful are the beautiful things that you believe about yourself, about your worth and your value and your deservancy, you know. And the things that are not so wonderful that you don't like, those are also your beliefs, all right? And it might be very difficult to do that, but once you can start to, even on a small scale, start to accept accountability for your experience of life, everything changes. Because that makes you realize that you are in control, which you are. Your life is determined by your beliefs about yourself. All right? So when you do, regression hypnosis, and past life is really just one of them. Past life is like, okay, what was the sort of like incarnation experiences that I had prior to this one? Okay? But then, of course, the monkey wrench in the toolbox for that is that time doesn't really exist. So we have a perception of ourselves having a life now, having a life in 1960, having a life in 1620, having a life on a different, planet in a different dimension, but we're having all these at the same time. We just believe them to be at different times. Like from the all consciousness, you choose to tap into one specifically. But it is what you do there that determines what it is that you can tap into next. Okay? It's the same way as when you go work. Or you have a job or whatever, like anything that brings you money. The amount of money that you have in the bank determines what you are able to buy within the construct of, paying for something with money. You know what I'm saying? All right? Or you can have a lot of money in the bank, but let's say for some reason your card is cancelled. Let's say maybe somehow your account has been compromised. So in the space of life, maybe some fear came in, some non-serving belief came in. And, let's say you're able to purchase things from your phone, but for some reason the app isn't working or something like that. So the money is there, the possibility is there, the access isn't there. So then you somehow contact the bank, or you go into the bank and you speak to someone and say, can you help me? I can't access my funds. They set you up, they maybe get it back on your phone, you get a different phone, you download the app, you get some new cards, you get a temporary card, you get a virtual card, whatever the case may be. You draw some physical cash in the bank. Now you've got money again. So now you are able to spend the money that has been there all along. All right? And remember, the bank always has money. In the same thing that life always has potential. Right? Because this analogy is basically about life. So when I maybe transfer money from my account to your account, there is literally not any funds that are going anywhere. It is just digits. It's just a digital sort of like relationship, like a contract. Adrian sent you money. You are able to access the money. Ka-ching, now you can do money again. It's the same thing with universal possibility. The money is already there. The possibilities, the opportunities, everything is already there. It is about gaining access to it. Okay? So the work that you do in this lifetime determines what is possible for you in your next incarnation and your next incarnation. So it is not as simple a deal as people make it out to be. It's quite a big deal, in fact. And so, it's not always just about healing this and healing that. But it is about setting yourself up for going forward when you wake up in your next incarnation. And when you kind of want to think of that, we always see death and rebirth as something to celebrate and something that is really tragic. But when you look at it from a universal perspective, the baby that's in the womb lives in this paradise of the womb where everything is provided until it's time for the baby to move from that space, until the baby's outgrown that space, and it's time for the baby to be born. So it's time to leave this, this paradise, this once perfect, all-providing utopia. And it didn't make sense for you to be anywhere else. That's where you were supposed to be. But now it's time to leave that. And you may or may not know that it's a very stressful experience for a baby to actually be born. And in that same way in life, it can be very stressful when we are leaving a certain part of life behind and we birth it into a next space, especially when there is fear involved. And fear can be a real fly in the jam, you know? Fear can be a real bugger. And fear typically expresses itself in three ways. Either as you being a victim, you being a perpetrator, or you being a savior. That is typically how fear will sort of like express itself, okay? And I speak more about that in my different coaching options. You can take a look in the links down below in the description for the different online options that I have available as well, okay? But with regression hypnosis, I want you to think of it as this big favor that you can basically do for yourself. And there's a couple of benefits with that. First of all, it is very beautifully relaxing. And because it's so beautifully relaxing, you leave all these worries and these fears and these challenges of this world behind. And you are reminded of who you are. And when you once again remember who you truly are, things just get better for you. And, you know, there's this idea that in-person sessions are superior to online sessions. And I can tell you, I have been facilitating for the last couple of years sessions both in person and both online. And I find that the option that the client chooses is typically the optimal serving option for them at this particular point in time. So whether you live on the other side of the world and we do it online, or as some people sometimes, you know, in South Africa, they'll basically take a day flight to me, have the session, fly back, which I actually think is a beautiful thing to do. I even say to people sometimes, if it's possible, stay over a night. You know, book yourself into a beautiful place, stay over the night. It's a beautiful experience, a beautiful gift that you can give to yourself. And so, you know, either it's that, or you come and see me in person, you know, or you might be living right next to me. I mean, I used to do regression hypnosis sessions online for someone that literally lived down the road from me. But this person felt more comfortable in her own space, you know, without me physically there. She wanted to be on her own. And that was perfect for her. So it is what is perfect for you. But whatever you do, this is an investment into your own soul evolution experience going forward. It is you benefiting in your own karmic potential going forward. It is about you releasing the thoughts and beliefs and ideas and the values that don't serve you positively. And so not only does it beautifully enhance this experience of life, and the more beautiful this life becomes, the more positivity you tap into, so the more you know, you sort of set yourself up for a better serving potential going forward. But it's not just about this lifetime, it is about all your lifetimes going forward. You know, all souls, they come here, and for whatever soul purpose it is that we want to serve, you know, you choose your body and your family and your race and your circumstances. But all of those things, those possibilities are also either possible or impossible for you based on your beliefs about yourself. And just because you die, you leave this body behind, doesn't mean that your beliefs change about you. Because you are not your body, you live inside of your body, you know? So your body, in a sense, doesn't determine who you are. So what you do on a cellular level within yourself while you are in the body determines what lifetime, what family, what possibilities, what body, what experiences are possible for you going forward. Okay. So if you are interested in not just benefiting in this lifetime, but also benefiting in your next lifetime, then I would highly recommend that you consider booking a regression hypnosis session with me, either a once-off session, which are typically a longer session, or a couple of individual sessions. I would usually recommend the individual sessions. I would recommend 4 of them. They're about 1.5 hours to 2 hours each. Beautiful gift that you can give to yourself or to someone else, someone that you would like to see grow in this life. Obviously, always with their permission. Okay? Got any questions? Don't hesitate to ask me. From my heart, namaste, love and light. And I look forward to connecting with you on the next video.